Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. Since 1926, Farm Bureau has been working to preserve Virginia farms and our rural heritage. Visit our website at virginiafarmbureau.com.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce the wonderful products that we all enjoy, brought to you by Virginia Farm Bureau. Virginia farmers ship millions of dollars of farm products overseas, including soybeans. Picnic season is coming, and Chef Maxwell has a great recipe for you. And scientists are working to improve crop yields to feed the world, in the heart of tobacco country. Welcome back to Real Virginia, everyone. This week we're at a soybean farm in Orange County, Virginia. Soybeans were the top farm export from the Old Dominion last year, and Ricky Gibson reports that many of them ended up on the other side of the world.
The foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Orange County truly are a world away from China. But in 2016, $55 million worth of soybeans passed through the port of Virginia to that country and Southeast Asia. Some of those beans came from right here on Cameron Gibson's family farm.
We are lucky to have a port here in Virginia, a deep water terminal where we can load these ships, and we also are able to load containers. So all these products that you see made in China that are shipped over in containers, they have a bunch of empty containers that have to get back to China to be filled up with more Barbie dolls and toys and everything else, so we can load those with soybeans.
Gibson's father and grandfather began raising soybeans after World War II, diversifying into a row crop that offered them steady income in addition to their cattle business. He serves on the United Soybean Board, an industry promotion group, and he understands the value of having a strong export market for Virginia farm products.
China has become the largest consumer of soybeans worldwide. And if you look back historically, 20 years ago, China imported from the United States about 2 million metric tons of soybeans. Now, if we advance that up to just last year, it was 87 million metric tons.
Long says not only China, but all of Southeast Asia is a growth market for American farm products. The populations of those countries are growing, and they want better quality foods.
Their demand for protein, whether it's pork or poultry, is increasing. We've got more trade going to Vietnam, Malaysia, the Philippines, Indonesia from Virginia, both in vessels and in containers. So we're going to see a large expansion of that area as well.
In addition to the Port of Virginia, Virginia farmers have the advantage of an international team of marketing experts promoting our wide variety of agricultural products.
We have 8 people around the world, offices around the world, that are every day promoting Virginia agriculture. And so one of the benefits to a farmer, let's say for example a grain farmer, is that if in fact we find a new buyer in say for example Singapore or Malaysia, we can introduce that buyer to either the farmer directly if they want to look at trying to load containers for export, or they could utilize a trader. And there are a couple of companies here in Virginia that are actually going to the farm and loading containers for export.
Timber, tobacco, wine, pork, and poultry are some of the other farm products sold to customers around the world from the Old Dominion. And Long notes farmers and all Virginians benefit from strong overseas sales.
One of the benefits to Virginia consumers, because of all of the expansion of trade here out of Virginia, is the fact that our economy is doing well here in the state. And we do have more jobs, we do have more business activity, we do attract more companies here to Virginia to participate in that trade.
The total amount of Virginia farm and forestry exports in 2016 was $2.75 billion, a decline from previous years. But Long notes that was caused more by a drop in world market prices than a slowdown in sales. Gibson is optimistic soybean sales will continue to be strong this season.
If we can maintain our current yield levels and have decent weather. I think with all the marketing tools we have in place here and with the proximity of the ports in Richmond and in Chesapeake, then I think we'll have a good year. And with China being a strong importer, and India and countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Japan, Canada, Mexico coming in, I think we'll do extremely well.
That's the hope. The good news is Virginia farmers have all the tools in place to keep their farm exports strong and the state's economy running smoothly. In Orange County, Virginia, I'm Ricky Gibson reporting.
Farm and forestry sales from Virginia were valued at $2.75 billion in 2016. While soybean exports were number one that year, wood products came in second, followed by leaf tobacco, pork, and soy meal. China was the top destination for farm products from the Old Dominion, followed by Canada, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and Tunisia. Virginia farm exports reached an all-time high of $3.35 billion in 2014. And in 2015, farm exports from Virginia amounted to 28% of all U.S. agriculture overseas sales, making the Old Dominion the top state for farm exports that year.
I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, we're going to talk about pruning holly trees. Stay with us.
More than 90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made a promise to our local farmers to protect and preserve a way of life they'd worked so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member and enjoy the many benefits of membership. There's a local Farm Bureau in every county of the state. We think everyone should be a friend of the farm. Visit our website at virginiafarmbureau.com to learn more.
Have your holly shrubs gotten out of hand this winter? Mark Viette shows us how to trim them properly in the garden.
You know what happens, right? We plant this little tiny tree that we get in a small container around the base of our house or the foundation planting. All of a sudden, the tree is huge. It's reaching up into the second floor or taller. Now this tree is an American holly, fast growing, and the name of this one's called Merry Christmas. And I'm going to prune it back. 2 times you can consider pruning back hollies. End of March, last 2 weeks in March, great time period. But you can also prune it sometime in July, beginning or middle part of July. Might even consider the last weekend in June as a great time to prune. I'm going to prune this back hard. The one thing you always have to look for are birds' nests, because a lot of birds love to nest in hollies. And what I'm going to do is take off about 7 feet, and I'm going to narrow this down so I won't have to prune this again for another 3 to 5 years. It's easy, be safe, wear protective equipment, and always watch out for electric lines, phone lines, and things of that nature at the same time. And just work around the tree. Toward the top, I'm going to narrow it to about 1 foot. Now you have 2 choices. If you have a tree that's too big, you can replace it, but in this case, I did not want to replace it. I just wanted to rejuvenate it. And it gives you a really good workout. And this pruner can prune almost up to 3 inches. And then I'll use the loppers. And you want to cut it back hard enough so it will grow back out. I'm forcing it to grow back out because I'm cutting it back pretty hard. Now, many of us think by pruning it hard, you know, we get a little squeamish. We say, wow, we're hurting the tree. But really, what we're doing is rejuvenating the tree. It was encroaching on a walkway, so I want to make sure I get it back far enough that the walkway can still be used. And at some point, what I'll do is stand back from the tree and look at my progress and make sure I'm cutting enough off of the tree. And you can look closely and you can see where many years ago it was pruned back hard. I'm going to prune it to that point. As you can see, I can now use the walkway that's here. You can use your hand pruners for some of the smaller branches, but in a year or two, it'll have new growth. In 3 years, it'll probably look like, what did I do? I didn't prune it. Any dead portions, remove. And this tree is finished and ready to regrow. Within 2 or 3 years, you won't even realize you did it. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
What's your favorite potato salad recipe? Chef John Maxwell shares his secret ingredients to make this family picnic treat next in the heart of the home.
From our farms to your table. Virginia dairy farm families are dedicated to providing your family with nutritious, high-quality milk.
I'm Dan Myers, a fifth-generation dairy farmer from Virginia.
I'm Roy Vanderhyde, a first-generation dairy farmer from Virginia.
I'm Gerald Heatwool, a third-generation dairy farmer from Virginia.
I am dedicated to dairy, my cows,
My milk,
and our land.
Warmer weather in May means picnic season is back. Chef John Maxwell says homemade potato salad is just the thing to serve to your family. He shares his unique recipe in the heart of the home.
Hi, welcome to Meadow Hall in Meadow Event Park in Doswell, Virginia. I'm Chef John Maxwell, and you're in the heart of the home. Today, we're going to do something a little bit special. We've got plenty of Virginia product, the way we normally do, but I'm going to share with you my favorite potato salad. Now, I know, everybody has a favorite potato salad, and theirs is the best, but I think you'd be worth considering this one. Right? We're going to start out with a little bit of sour cream, because I really believe that whatever it is that you eat, it has to have enough fat in it. So we're going to put some fat in it with the sour cream. Right, about a cup of sour cream in here. Right. Then, and we're going to add about a cup of mayonnaise. And mix this around. I'm going to add some vinegar to this to give it a little acid. I'm using this cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar, made in Virginia. Now I'm going to add some tarragon. I'm adding some dried. I'll add some fresh to the top, but I want it to absorb some of the liquid, so I'm using some dried in there. Right. A little bit of Dijon-style mustard. Right. And we'll mix this. Now I'm going to put this up here, sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper in there. And I've got this bowl that I've already cut some potatoes up into it, and I'm going to cut some more potatoes. Right. These are good Eastern Shore red potatoes, and I'm going to just cut them into large chunks. Not that large. As you can tell, these are not raw potatoes. Right? These have been cooked. Takes about a half hour to boil potatoes. Right? But you don't need to do anything special to them. You get the water on the stove, put the potatoes in it, bring it to a boil, cook them till the toothpick goes all the way in and comes out clean, and you're pretty much done. But don't try and make this with raw potatoes. And there we go. Now I cut a bunch of them ahead of time because I didn't want you to have to watch me cut all those potatoes. And now I'm going to add some nice fresh garden peas. You can use frozen if you want. And if you're using frozen, you don't have to do anything to them, just thaw them out. And I'm going to add some bacon. And I'm going to add a little bit more of this vinegar. Sprinkle it around so that the potatoes will absorb them and the rest of the vegetables will get a little tang. So really, a little bit more vinegar and some oil, and this would work really well. And when I'm at home, I'll take the bacon fat and add it to the potato salad. And this would be a good place for that to happen. Right. All right, so I've got that. Now I'm going to add the dressing that I made. Now this will refrigerate when we're finished, and the potatoes will absorb a lot of this. So even though it looks like there's a lot more liquid than we need in here, right, by the time we get finished chilling it down good, making it ready for us to eat, like the potatoes will have absorbed a lot of that liquid. Now we want to decorate this with a couple of things. I'm going to move this over here. All right. Get my chef's knife, and I'm going to take a little bit of this fresh tarragon. All right. And pull it off the stems so that the big stems aren't there. And now I'm going to chop that up nice. Tarragon is one of my favorite herbs. The aroma coming off of here is just wonderful. Can't wait till the technology is available so you guys can smell what I'm doing. All right, and I'm going to chop a little bit more of this bacon. I think pretty much anything is improved with a little bit of bacon. I'm going to sprinkle that over the top of this. All right, and there we are. We've got a nice Virginia potato salad. It's got sweet, it's got sour, it's got bacon, it's got fat, it's got potatoes, it's got pretty much everything you want in a potato salad. So enjoy.
Every week, we make recipes using great Virginia-grown food. We make them in our kitchen so you can make them in your kitchen. Join us next week on Heart of the Home when we get to play with more great Virginia food.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on Chef Maxwell's website, chefjohnmaxwell.com. It's almost time to look for local Virginia potatoes in your supermarket. Potatoes are harvested in early summer in the Old Dominion. They're raised on almost 5,000 acres, mostly on the eastern shore. In 2015, more than 1 million pounds of fresh potatoes were harvested, generating $15.4 million in sales. Virginia is not a large potato-producing state, but we do supply fresh potatoes at a key time in the marketing year. Virginia is the nation's 24th largest potato-producing state, with 762 farms raising the crop.
Both Virginia Tech and Virginia State University have popular agriculture schools, but Dave Miller reports ag research also is underway in Southside Virginia, a region known for centuries for its production of tobacco, the Old Dominion's first commercial crop.
Agriculture research has always focused on finding ways to boost crop yields and raise healthier animals. Scott Lohman with the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research says he's following in those footsteps by using biotechnology and other new tools to get a step ahead.
Of course, I'm a scientist, so I think 20 to 30 years in advance. So my research is to increase plant growth and health naturally. And we do that by two ways. We do it with biology. I study bacteria that live inside of plants, and through technology and precision agriculture. Those two together we're hoping to use to increase plant growth and health naturally.
The Institute was established 17 years ago as a partnership between Virginia Tech and other schools and local governments with funding from the Virginia Tobacco Indemnification and Community Revitalization Commission. The goal of this new research center was to find new ways to boost agricultural production in the southern Piedmont part of the state, where the historic tobacco economy was in transition.
So we need to adapt our practices in order to meet the needs of the growing population. And one way that we're looking to do that is through precision agriculture, which is utilizing unmanned aerial systems to maximize outputs for farmers while minimizing inputs such as water, fuel, fertilizers, and agrochemicals. So we're utilizing two drones, our AgBot, and then our DJI is just kind of a knock-around drone, but our AgBot is the real showcase piece. It has a multispectral camera and then a thermal camera, which we use to gather data on crop-specific or specific crops in different times of their growth periods.
Another technique in development is using advanced growth tables to study the effects of endophytes, or good bacteria that live in plants and help them grow. The endophytes developed at the Institute can then be produced by companies that market the products to farmers.
They're developed in collaboration with mechanical engineering at Virginia Tech, and what they allow us to do is track plant growth and health by the minute. You know, in the old days, I had a tape measure in my notebook, and I wasn't here at nights and I wasn't here on weekends. This is 24/7. It captures images of plants as they grow with both normal cameras for visual wavelengths and near-infrared cameras. And what we do with that table is kind of neat because we can take every single plant on the table and time-lapse it and introduce a treatment to it and watch how the plant responds both visually and through near-infrared. Near-infrared is a technology that detects plant health before we see it turn yellow. So when a plant has a challenge, near-infrared can pick that up before we see it turn yellow, because obviously by the time it turns yellow, it's not good.
Some of the endophyte strains developed by the Institute are already bearing fruit. They've helped local strawberry growers and vineyards produce fruits with higher biomass, as well as fight specific tobacco diseases. These are the tools that Institute researchers expect to not only help current farmers, but also be attractive to the next generation of growers that are needed to keep Southside Virginia's farm economy thriving.
Well, we definitely want to interest a new generation of farmers to the agriculture field just in order to make sure that those needs again are met for future populations. Usually the trend is if you grew up on a farm, you become a farmer, but we're looking to introduce new population of farmers to the area who might be a little more innovative and adept at using these types of technologies.
In an area with a tradition of raising tobacco for more than a century, the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research is focusing on the next generation of technology to help feed the world's growing population and to help local farmers and their children keep Southside Virginia's agricultural heritage alive. In Danville, Virginia, this is Dave Miller.
We are glad you could join us this week to celebrate all the bounty that Virginia has to offer, from the kitchen to your home and garden to these beautiful wide open spaces. We are proud to say that this is real Virginia. From everyone at Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching and make it a great week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay.